guys, we're back in the booth tonight. Wanted to thank our sponsor of the video, lurebuild.com. Jimmy has excellent blanks, eyes, stencils from Insane Custom Stencils. He has his own brand. So go check him out, lurebuild.com, for all your painting and lure supply needs. So let's get to it. All right, we are back at it this afternoon. We're gonna do this Mega Bass knockoff Wiggle Griffin in kind of a cool pattern that I call ice crappie. Kind of a neat pattern. So what I've done is I've started the bait out with a coat of one white Autoborn Sealer primer, and then I put one coat of iridescent white golden on it, and I've let it dry. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a stencil from Insane Custom Stencils and do a little bit of work on the sides. We're gonna get some gold and black and touch it up. I'll be using the 771 on this today. Couple drops. And I'll try to leave it in the stand. When I do this, I'm gonna be using a little mini Insane Custom Stencils for this one. This is a real tiny bait, so we're gonna kind of have to play with our stencil placement on this and make sure it's touching. So I'm gonna do this first. And I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna lightly spray the front of this. Gives a cool little effect. And then we'll go ahead with the pattern part. And the key to this is just making sure you get it up high enough. It's kind of hard doing it in the stand, but I'm trying to do this so you can see it. And I'm just going to lightly spray it. Gives it a neat looking crappie effect. And I'm going to darken the eye just a little bit. It's got a kind of a protruding eye. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a deep well. So what I'll do is I'll actually hit the well with the black and just go around the outside. I'm not going to do the inside, just a little bit of the outside. Makes it look like a black eye. And then we'll jump to the other side. I'll do it upside down, so hopefully y'all can see this. And we'll set it on. We'll lightly spray over that. Gives it a neat little, kind of like a mottled effect. Then we'll take it, make sure we're touching down on it. I gotta get this back down. It's just hard doing it in the stand, but we're gonna get it done. Okay, turned out really cool looking. And what we'll do on the top, we'll go ahead and put a little scale pattern on there. Lock this down, line up the pattern, just put my hand on it. And what I want to do is I just want to make sure it meets where I stop with the stencil. Then you don't have a gap in the bait. So we'll lightly spray that. I don't want it to be super dark. Turned out really cool looking. So we'll set that down. And I'll show you what we got so far. Got our scale pattern. Got our little crappie stripes, a little bit of modeling on the face, darkened up the eyes a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and clean our gun out. These are really nice blanks. These were gotten at Alternative Lures, Luis. Very good quality. Luis is a great guy. Fast shipping. He has a lot of the different blanks that you can't get anywhere. That's what I like dealing with Luis. His quality is very good. All right, so the color that I'm going to go to next, and I'm not going to use a whole lot of this. This is not a transparent. It is a golden phthalo blue, and I'm going to use just a little bit for the top. Just a couple of drops, just to put a light dusting over this, because I'm going to come back over it with a transparent. So I'm just going to take it and just hit it real light so I can still see my scale pattern. I don't want to cover that up. So we're just going to go real light. Let it come down just a little bit on the sides. So you see what we got. Really a cool paint. And I'm going to put a little bit on these eyes, because I'm going to come back with I got to get a little bit of black. I didn't do this side. So let me clean this out, put a little bit of black in there. And then we're going to come back with a transparent. Well, the color I just used was a phthalo blue to green. Now I'm going to use a phthalo transparent green to blue, and it gives a really neat effect, and it's a transparent. So let me get a little bit of black in the gun and touch that eye if I forgot to do it on this side. Get a drop in there. We won't need much for this. I'm gonna hit the inside of this well on this eye. It's a unique looking bait. It really is. It's got a really tight action. Okay. Clean the gun out real quick. Okay, so this is actually the phthalo green with a blue shade in it. And this is really a cool color to spray over this. It's a transparent, but it has just a neat color of green, kind of like a seafoam green. So we're gonna go back over the top of this with the green, and I'm gonna let it bleed down on the sides a little bit. And I'm gonna hit just a little bit on the sides. It's a transparent. I'm really just gonna spray it where I've got the stenciling done. You can still see the blue, because where I live, there's a little bit of a silver blue on the crappie here, and that's what they look like. And it's really a neat looking color. I've only been using these golden paints for a short time, but I'm gonna tell you, they are nice. They are nice paints. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that dry. We're gonna clean the gun out. And then I'm gonna heat set this really fast. Just do a quick heat set on this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of Dr. Phil's iridescent silver ink, 1R. I'm gonna shake it up good. And I'm gonna put a little bit on these sides to kind of give the stencil pattern kind of a little bit of just a pop, because you can see straight through this. I'm not gonna put a lot on it. Put a little bit in my gun. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put just a little bit right in here, a little on the, just to give it a little bit of a sheen. Crappie have kind of a sheen on them, especially where their spots are. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of sheen on just that stencil work. If you've never used these inks, they give off a really cool effect. And I'll put just a little bit on this bottom to mix with that pearl white. Mix it up just a little bit. And that just gives it a really unique look. We'll put a little bit right here on the face. Come around, down the gill. Clean the gun out, we'll let that dry. We're gonna go ahead and do everything to this today. We're gonna go ahead and put a coat of True Coat on it. We're gonna get it epoxy. Not a hard pattern to do. It's just a matter of just kind of getting the colors the way you want them. So we're gonna set that down for a minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you see it from where we are right now. You can see it's got that, you can still see the green and the silver as it sheens in, and the top's got the blue-green. Really a cool looking little lure, I'll tell you. I like doing them. We're gonna go ahead and take this tape off. Get that off. We'll put it back in. And the eyes I'm going to use, I'm not going to use natural eyes on this one. I'm going to kind of use some cool looking eyes. It's just a cool looking little bait. We're going to use these solid eyes, and they're kind of a bluish green eye, more blue. I think it'll kind of give it just a neat look to have. And they're bigger than normal for such a small bait, so they'll really stand out. Go ahead and spin it around. Get this eye on. Let you check it out with the eyes. Really kind of a cool bait. Not a hard pattern to do. We'll get a little UVLS and hit a coat on it and let it dry. And then we'll get some True Coat cooking and get a coat of epoxy on and let you see what it's going to look like. If you haven't used the True Coat, the more I use it, the more I like it. It's a small batch epoxy. It really has a nice finish. I've got a couple lures that I've actually put 2 coats on, just trying it out. It really has turned out fantastic. Really has turned out good. I'm really tickled with the results with it. I'm just an epoxy guy. It's what I like to use. Get this stirred up. And if you've never used the UVLS, it's really a great thing. I always get a lot of questions asking me, is that a top coat? It's really not. It's a water-based acrylic polyurethane, and it's really just a color protector is what it is. It'll lock your colors in, won't let them run, bleed. They'll stay true. Really a good product. I use it just about on every lure. We're gonna switch guns. Get this in here. And you just want to get it good and wet. That's when it works its best. I got my pressure up to about 40, so we're gonna go ahead and hit it. And all I'm doing the bill. Just getting it good and wet. Really had, I can't tell you how much I like the 2 golden paints and how they blend very well together. They're the same color in reverse, except one of them's a transparent, and it just gives a really neat color. So we're gonna clean the gun out and we're gonna let this dry. Let it dry for a minute. And we'll go ahead and get our, I'm not going to waste a little bit I got left in the gun on it. We'll let it dry. Let you look at that for a second. And then I'll get the True Coat ready. And we'll put a little bit on it. Like I was saying about the True Coat, it is a small batch epoxy, and it really does a great job. Go ahead and dry this off with the air. And another thing that I have done, I'm not going to do it on this lure, but if you were wanting to put a candy on this, you could actually use the Tealicious and put it over the top. That really makes it pop, especially using this kind of color scheme. Oh, it really gives it a cool effect, because I do love the candies. I just wanted to do one without it to try, to fish with a little bit and see how it did. So let me go ahead and get the True Coat ready. It's gonna take me just a second. Get got to remember, the True Coat is done by volume, not by weight. If you're going to use it successfully, that's, you know, what you're going to have to do. And you don't need a lot. I'll use very little on this bait, and it will turn out very well. Got that done. We'll go ahead and get a stirrer and a brush, and we'll go ahead and get this done. Yeah, that's the one thing about the True Coat. It takes very, very little to do a bait. Stir this up real quick. Grab a for this, so we can get it on there so I can hold it while we do it. Okay, come down. I don't want to go all the way up on that. Tighten it up. Go ahead and take it off of this. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add something called micro prisms to this, and this is what it is. It's very, very fine glitter, and I'm going to put just a little bit of that in here, and this will definitely make it pop. Just stir it up really good. When you're not using a lot of epoxy, it doesn't give you a whole lot to stir, but you won't waste this stuff because it just doesn't take a lot. I used about 0.50 grams to 0.25 of the, 50 of the part A to about 25 of the part B, and it's usually a pretty good rule of thumb measurement for me on doing a small bait. I'll still have some left over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull it down with my brush. I use these little cups you get at Sam's Club, and I'm gonna spin it around. Take some of these Harbor Front brushes. The brushes like to come off of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on the top here and just run it across. This brush is about to drive me crazy. I'm gonna run it down. It's very thin, so it doesn't take much to get the coverage on it. I usually do the bill last, so we'll go ahead and get the body done. And you can see it's starting to jump. Because you can't really see those micro prisms till you get it outside. But man, when you get it out there, it is something serious cool. It is I mean, it will shine. It totally gives the lure a totally different look than it does from the inside. Seeing this thing, I just want to make sure I get those eye sockets. It's deep. These eye sockets are real deep. I don't want the epoxy puddling in those, so I take that out. But I can see them. I can actually see them. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but those micro prisms are just really neat. Just want to make sure I get it covered. Then I'll run over the bill real quick, just lightly. And it'll have the micro prisms on it too. It'll have a little bit of sparkle, and it's nothing wrong with that. It gives it a neat look. It doesn't take a lot. You just got to watch the bill area. It kind of wants to like bead off of it a little bit, but if you put enough on there, and I got enough here to do it, it'll take care of it, and I'll put it on the turner for about 8 hours, and it's good to go. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the ice crappie. Really a cool looking bait. If you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the bell notification so you'll know when I'm doing upcoming videos. And subscribe to the channel. Put your input in there. If there's something you'd like me to paint, as long as my skill set will allow it, I'll be glad to do it. Our channel's growing pretty rapidly, so I'm pretty excited about that. But like I said, I'll catch you next time. Thanks.